Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen. I'm Father Kevin Long of St. Elias Antiochian Orthodox Church in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Today's Thursday, August 23rd, 2026, and here are the readings for today. Today's reading from the epistle is the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 12, verses 1 through 11. About that time, Herod the king laid violent hands upon some who belonged to the church. He killed James, the brother of John, by the sword. And when he saw that it pleased the Jews, he proceeded to arrest Peter also. This was during the days of unleavened bread. And when he had seized him, he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to guard him, intending after the Passover to bring him out to the people. So Peter was kept in prison, but earnest prayer for him was made to God by the church. The very night when Herod was about to bring him out, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers bound with 2 chains, and sentries before the door were guarding the prison. And behold, an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. And he struck Peter on the side and woke him, saying, "Get up quickly." And the chains fell off his hands. The angel said to him, "Dress yourself and put on your sandals." And he did so. And he said to him, "Wrap your mantle around you and follow me." And he went out and followed him. He did not know that what was done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. When they had passed the first and second guard, they came to the iron gate leading to the city. It opened to them of its own accord, and they went out and passed on through one street. And immediately the angel left him, and Peter came to himself and said, "Now I am sure that the Lord sent his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod, and from all that the Jewish people were expecting." A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John, chapter 15, verses 17 through 27, chapter 16, verses 1 through 2. The Lord said to his disciples, "This I command you, to love one another. If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. If they kept my word, they will keep yours also. But all this they will do to you on my account, because they do not know him who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not have sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. He who hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which no one else did, they would not have sin. But now they have seen and hated both me and my Father. It is to fulfill that which is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. But when the Comforter comes, whom I shall send to you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, who proceeds from the Father, he will bear witness to me. You also are witnesses, because you have been with me from the beginning. I have said this all to you to keep you from falling away. They will put you out of the synagogues. Indeed, the hour is coming when whoever kills you will think that he is offering service to God. Glory to thee, our God, glory to thee. The second Thursday after Pascha falls this year on the feast of the great martyr George, and the convergence is not accidental in the way that liturgical convergences never are. The Church has said a reading about imprisonment and miraculous release alongside a farewell discourse in which Christ tells his disciples plainly that the world will hate them. The great martyr George, who was tortured and killed for refusing to deny the name of Christ under the Emperor Diocletian, is the third presence in the room, the one who received these words and took them with full seriousness, and paid the price that seriousness sometimes exacts. St. Peter is in prison again. Herod has already killed James, the brother of John, with a sword, and seeing that it pleased the Jews, he arrested Peter during the days of unleavened bread, intending to bring him out to the people after the Passover. The detail that St. Luke provides is almost excessive. Peter is sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, with sentries before the door. The security arrangements are meticulous. They are also, as it turns out, irrelevant. An angel appears. A light shines in the cell. The angel strikes Peter on the side, not gently, the verb suggests, and says, "Get up quickly." The chains fall off his hands. Peter follows the angel out, past the first guard, past the second, through the iron gate that opens of its own accord, and into the street. And then the angel departs, and Peter stands in the open air and comes to himself, saying, "Now I am sure that the Lord has sent his angel and rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting." Close quote. The whole sequence has a quality of barely controlled amazement. St. Peter following the angel, thinking that it was a vision, the iron gate swinging open, the sudden cold of the night street. St. Luke wants the reader to feel the texture of a miracle that did not announce itself as a miracle until it was already over. St. Sophrony would say that this is how the grace of God most often operates, not with prior explanation, but with a tap on the side in the dark, a chain falling, a door opening, before one has quite decided to walk through it. The spiritual life for St. Sophrony is largely a matter of learning how to follow what one does not fully understand, trusting that the angel is real and that the gate is not a dream in its opening. Peter's mistake in the cell, thinking he was seeing a vision, is not a failure of faith. It is an entire reasonable response to something that exceeds the categories available to him. He follows anyway, and that is enough. The church prays for Peter throughout his imprisonment. Earnest prayer, St. Luke says, by the church to God. And it is impossible not to feel the contrast with James, who was killed, for whom presumably the church also prayed. The angel comes for Peter and not for James, and St. Luke does not explain this because St. Luke is honest enough to know that the explanation is not available. The martyr George will later be one of those for whom the angel does not come, or at least comes differently. Not to open the prison door, but to strengthen the one inside it for what is ahead. The martyrs are not people God failed to rescue. They are people that God accompanied all the way through. The difference matters. To the gospel, and the tone changes entirely. These words are from the upper room, from the last evening before the Passion, and they land differently on the feast of St. George than they would on an ordinary Thursday, saying, "This I command you, to love one another. If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were one with the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you." The word world here is doing the same work that it does throughout the Gospel of St. John. It's not creation, which God loved enough to give his Son for, but the closed system of human self-organization that has decided that it does not need God and resents the reminder that it might. The hatred is structural, not personal. It is the hatred of a system for what threatens the system's self-sufficiency. The martyr George threatened it by existing, by being a soldier of the empire who turned out to be more fundamentally a soldier of a different king. The empire could not tolerate the competition, and it never can. Quote, "Remember the word that I said to you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you." Close quote. The sentence is not a warning designed to produce fear. It is a clarification designed to prevent confusion. Stanley Hauerwas spent years arguing that the church's mistake is to be surprised by persecution, to treat it as an anomaly rather than a predictable consequence of fidelity. Christ is telling his disciples in advance so that when it does happen, they will not be destabilized by it. Not because suffering is good in and of itself, but because suffering for the name of suffering in company, suffering in participation of the life of the one who went first. That is what the suffering of the church is all about. Quote, "But all this they will do to you on my account, because they do not know him who sent me." Close quote. The diagnosis is precise and in its own way merciful. The persecution is not malice all the way down. It is ignorance, a real, culpable, but still remediable ignorance of the Father. The martyr George's persecutors did not know what they were doing, in the sense that they did not know whom they were opposing. This is not an excuse. It is a theological account of how human evil works. Not as a pure wickedness, but as the misdirected energy of people who have not yet recognized the source of life that they are trying to extinguish. Quote, "When the Comforter comes, whom I shall send to you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth who proceeds from the Father, he will bear witness to me, and you also are witnesses because you have been with me from the beginning." Close quote. The witness of the Spirit and the witness of the disciples are set alongside each other here as a single and double testimony. St. Basil the Great would say that this is the proper order. The Spirit does not witness independently of the human witness, nor do human witnesses speak independently of the Spirit. The two are interwoven, so that what St. Peter says in Solomon's Portico and what the martyr George refuses to deny before Diocletian are both in their different registers, the Spirit bearing witness through a human life. Quote, "I have said all of this to you to keep you from falling away. They will put you out of the synagogues. Indeed, the hour is coming when whoever kills you will think that he is offering service to God." Close quote. The last sentence is the most chilling in the passage. The persecutor who believes that he is serving God is not a monster, but a mirror, a reflection of what religious certainty looks like when it has been severed from love. The martyr George faced this mirror directly. The men who killed him were not irreligious. They were performing what they understood as piety. Christ names this possibility in advance, not to excuse it, but to ensure that the one who faced it would not be deceived by it, and would not mistake sincere religious violence for a sign that God has changed sides. The martyr George is commemorated today as a megalomartyr, a great martyr, and the greatness is not a matter of the quantity of suffering, it is a matter of the clarity with which a life was oriented towards the one who said, quote, "They will hate you because they have not known the Father." Close quote. The great martyr George knew the Father. He knew him well enough to take the hatred without being confused about its source or destabilized by its intensity. The angel came for Peter in his cell and the chains fell off. For the martyr George, the chains stayed on and something else happened, something the church calls glory and commemorates with red vestments and the memory of a soldier who turned out to be, in the end, a different kind of soldier entirely. Pascha is still in the air. The resurrection does not make the suffering go away. It makes it possible to go through, accompanied, witnessed, held by the Spirit who proceeds from the Father and bears witness to the Son. In every cell, and in every courtroom, and every morning after an impossible night, when a man comes to himself on a cold street and realizes, with something like wonder, that he is inexplicably free. Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen. Have a great day, and God willing, we'll see you tomorrow.